And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Box Office Shuffle, a physical media podcast where the three people you see on screen or are about to hear on your audio services bring their physical media collections to talk about a movie. And this week, we're talking about the classic from 1999, The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser. Not Lee Cronin's, and not the original, and not the one with Tom Cruise, even though he was almost in this one. We'll get into it in very short order. I'm one of your hosts, Thomas, a.k.a. Mr. Warburg. The man who brought us the movie this week, who has never seen it before, is Chris, a.k.a. Gamma Caruchidor.
Hello, I've seen it now. You can all get off my back.
And joining us, as always, the man who's going to read us the back of the box blurb, the one and only Joe, a.k.a. Joe.
What up?
So, Chris, before we get into the, rigmarole about the show and the movie and the, the box office and the budget and the stuff, first takeaway for seeing The Mummy.
First takeaway for seeing The Mummy. This is the most cartoon live-action movie I've ever seen. I feel like this was meant to be a cartoon, and they just did it live-action because of how over the top so many things are. I would say maybe it's because of the you guys loving it hype. I don't think it was an incredible movie. I thought it was a fun movie. I'm glad I own it. But if I'm going for a movie like this, where it's like archaeological, I'm going to any Indiana Jones aside from the actual
ones,
Indiana
yeah.
Jones,
Any?
not the ones that were done outside of the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like any of
I think
them?
that's certainly fair. I wouldn't put this on the level of anything. I'd put it on like Temple of Doom level. But it's not on the level of Raiders and Last Crusade for me.
I think
That's
one
a
of
fair
the
critique.
we could go into this more later, but I think one of the issues is they didn't build up the characters enough to make me care about any of them.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
there was nothing about Brendan Fraser's character that made me like, oh, I want to root for this guy. It was Brendan Fraser that made me want to root for that guy. Nothing about the character itself.
It is
but
true. You
that's just-
are getting into it after the Brendan Fraser Renaissance, Like, it is a different kind of way to get into this movie than having that cultural nostalgia for it. And we'll get into that a little
Right.
bit about the revisionist history with the reviews of this movie later on. Before we get there, though, Joe, hit us with that blurb, will you?
All right. So I don't actually because I've got the collector's edition for DVD. It doesn't have the blurb on the back, but I'm a guy that rips everything and puts onto a server. And on Jellyfin, it grabs a blurb. So I'm going to read off that. The sands will rise, the heavens will part, the power will be unleashed. Dashing legionnaire Rick O'Connell stumbles upon a hidden ruins of
Hamunaptra.
Hamunaptra.
Habanero, and while in the midst of a battle to claim the area in the 1920s in Egypt, it has been over 3,000 years since former high priest. Oh God,
Imhotep?
Yeah,
You got that one right.
nailed it. Suffered a fate worse than death as a punishment for his forbidden love. Along with the curse that guarantees eternal doom upon the world if he is ever awoken. Whoa.
And Joey's struggling with Hamunaptra is why we have him read the blurbs.
Yes.
Exactly.
That was fantastic, Joe. Thank you very much. The
problem.
Mummy, for some facts and figures here before we get into, background stuff, our thoughts on the movie, give it the score, the usual shenanigans. Released on May 7th, 1999. I think only like a week and a half to two, because I think Star Wars Episode 1 came out, like they had a special release, because that was like May 16th, I think. So it wasn't 2 full
I
weeks.
think you're right.
That was May 7th, 1999. And in fact, this movie was supposed to come out on May 21st, which would have been after Star Wars came out. So they bumped it up, and it was just after they had pulled The Matrix from theaters, just to give you a little window into the pop culture verse of when this came out. The budget was about 80 million, though the project in and of itself was extremely long gestating, which we'll get into in the background. But a listed budget of 80, and then obviously double-ish for your marketing and such. Box office was 422 million, though it's had a couple theatrical re-releases for a little bit more, but that's the actual original run's total. Home media sales, I did some basic back of my notepad math. It's listed at 7 million VHS units, which would have been the highest
Wow.
VHS selling of the year, and it was the second highest selling DVD at 1 million units. So,
Whoa.
given the rough average, which was like 15 to 20 for a VHS, and I went on the low end, and like 25 to 30 for a DVD, from what I could find online, I went with the low end. That meant a rough total, just that year alone, $130 million on not profit, but actual revenue.
Which they made.
Yeah.
So the revenue on the film, 550 million, give or take. Probably a little less, and then obviously not all that's profit, but still made a fair amount of money.
Damn, yeah.
It was directed by Stephen Sommers, and to your point about it feeling kind of like a cartoon or that kind of style, you might be able to tell why, because he directed the 1994 live-action The Jungle Book.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. Okay.
The year before,
The one with Carrie Ellis.
I believe so. Yeah, he's in that. And then The Adventures
My
of
brother brother loves that movie. I look for it anytime I go to a shop, and I don't know if they have a DVD of it. So, but I look for it every single time just in case.
It does, especially as when they remade it. I would assume they had a reprint at some point.
Mm-hmm.
They also did The Adventures of Huck Finn in '93. That's the one with Elijah Wood. He would also come back for The Mummy Returns and The Scorpion King, and he would direct Van Helsing as well with Hugh Jackman in 2004, which did not do nearly as well.
No.
Oh.
No, not even close. But yeah, he's definitely, I believe it was, I was watching some of the special features. I think it was John Hannah who said that Summers has a great feel of how to tell a roller coaster movie, which is like exactly what this is. And
Yeah,
as we discussed in
definitely.
the post show, became one of Universal's longest running theme park rides.
Mm-hmm.
It is exactly the
know
kind of
that.
movie that you're like, yeah, they'd make a theme park ride out of this.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
And it did. They did to a pretty large degree. Like it's a really big ride, I guess, for them. I've never been to any of those theme parks, but
Me neither.
it was also written by Summers. But the original pitch that got picked up to become the production will be written by Kevin. I think it's Jarre. I don't think he says the E. It's Jarre, who is a noted screenwriter and director, though didn't direct much. He wrote on Rambo: First Blood Part 2, the 1989 Glory, the one about the black soldiers in the Civil War. He did the screenplay and directed he got fired from the directing, from Tombstone as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
original director. It was going to be his debut, and then he got fired because he was overwhelmed from the job. He passed not long after this movie came out, but it was after Tombstone that he got picked up in '96 to write for this movie.
For this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Summer and Lloyd, he doesn't have a listed page that I could find. I didn't actually check IMDb. I was just going through the Wikipedia sources. Lloyd Fonvielle. It sounds French, so maybe it's Fonvie or Fonvier or something. I don't know. Those three are
Maybe.
credited for the screenplay. The music was by Jerry Goldsmith, which you can kind of definitely hear the motifs, and I'm like, oh yeah, you can tell Joel Goldsmith's his son. Because I'm like, I was recently rewatching some Stargate. I'm like, yeah, I get it, because he did the Stargate TV show, and they have a lot of similar stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Where we go? Oh yeah, cast. Brendan Fraser obviously in the lead, opposite Rachel Weisz as Evie. John Hannah as her brother. Arnold Vosloo as the eponymous The Mummy. Kevin O'Connor as the antagonist Benny. Then we had Jonathan Hyde, Oded Fair, I think that's how you say his name, and Eric Avari as the main listed cast, along with a host of others, like the American group that are all cursed and things like that.
Yeah.
The guys that die horribly.
Get sucked off.
It's crazy how many faces I saw in this movie, and I'm like, oh, I've seen these faces in so many other things, but I could never put a name to them. A lot of the American guys, I I'm pretty sure some of them were like in those like what's it called? Like the American Pie kind of movies.
I could. See
I feel
that.
like I'd seen one or two of them in those kinds of movies. Eric Avari, he's been in like so many different things. I'm pretty sure he was in a bunch of TV shows.
Oh yeah, and he was in Stargate.
He was.
Yeah.
I think he was in NCIS for an episode or two. And he's gone back. He was in a movie called Nothing Lasts Forever with Bill Murray. So there's our connection.
There's the connection.
It took, I think that might have been the only person in this entire film that would have been one step.
shit.
Everybody else
Okay.
was very tough, like
say.
those 2 or 3
Yeah,
movies.
because Frasier was out of the spotlight for a long time.
Right.
I can't recall Weiss ever being in anything with anyone. My thought
Nope.
would have been it might be Jonathan Hyde, because he was in a bunch of stuff in the 90s.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in Richie Rich, Jumanji, Titanic, Anaconda, The Mummy. And then
That's right.
yeah.
He was. Oh my god! I didn't even notice that. But now I went to his page.
Yeah,
Without the facial hair, he does not look like the guy from the Mummy or from the
from
Jumanji.
Jumanji. Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna be our connection to Kingpin. So let me write it down. What was that again?
It was Nothing Lasts Forever, and it was Eric Avari who was in it with Bill Murray.
Nothing lasts forever. Eric
1989, 1984 movie. So
I'll have to look that up. You know what we should do? We should make a video graphic for OBS that I can hit in my Steam Deck for the Kingpin connection. You know, like a spot,
Oh,
like
hell
when they
yeah.
might do like a sponsored segment on like Hot Ones or something. You know, like showing the sponsor. It's like this segment brought to you by Kingpin,
the more you Kingpin.
and then it's a strike animation.
Yeah.
Like get a terrible like bowling alley. You know, be like
One of those
yeah,
animals.
AVI file or something to throw in there.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. All right, so with the connection to Kingpin very early out of the way, back to my notes on my lovely notepad. Universal, as I said, was really trying to make a Mummy revival for a long time, going back into the 80s. In fact, legendary writer and director George Romero was hired for one of their original 80s pitches for a low-budget horror version, because obviously The Mummy originally was a horror movie, not a romantic comedy theme ride of a movie.
Yep.
And they were on that track for quite some time, up until basically the very mid to late 90s when this project came about. In fact, one of Joey's favorite actors, Daniel Day-Lewis, was attached to a version from Alan Ormsby. He did it independently of all the stuff Universal was doing. He was just like, hey, I have this idea for The Mummy, and then he went to Universal with it. But Universal at the time balked at the higher budget that would have gone with his pitch.
Oh, damn,
Yeah.
interesting.
And a lot of the themes that you seem to find in these scripts from the various different versions of The Mummy that they looked at were that they treated the mummy like the Terminator. As the creature was like supposed to be treated like the Terminator, this just unstoppable thing
Gotcha.
that,
Yeah.
you know, versus like this version we would end up getting from Bosloo in this film is less treated like, don't get me wrong, absolutely a villain, but has a little bit more, you can connect with him as a person a little more in terms of like through that introductions that we get with him in ancient Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of it just shows up and they don't know much about it and tries to kill them all the time. Yeah. So that is one thing that is a little bit different. After they got the script from Jer and they rewrote a bunch to actually start production, Tom Cruise was offered the lead, as was Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck, and they were all busy. None of them could do it.
Wow.
Thank you. Oh my.
So then
This movie would have been so different.
it would have been extremely different. And of course, Cruise would come back to The Mummy in the 2017 version that I will probably never watch. Ever. That is the classic movie I'm cool not ever owning. I don't need it. I'm only going to buy movies I want to watch. Fraser was cast, not Fraser. Fraser was cast instead because all the other guys were busy because of two things. Number one, he was real cheap. And number two, George of the Jungle came out, I think it was the year before. What year did George of the Jungle came out? I didn't write it down, but I did look it up. But that did very well at the box office. So he was seen as like a star on the rise that they could still get for cheap, and someone who would be able to work well tonally with what they were going for with the movie. And of course, he would famously nearly die filming this movie. You guys know the story about that? I'm
No.
sensing that Joey does not.
I do
So
not.
during his introduction scene, post the prison scene, I should say, where he's getting introduced to the rest of the cast, they do that scene where he gets hung. That was apparently way too tight and was not properly checked by the stunt team, and they did drop him, and it very nearly killed him, and he nearly
Holy
suffocated to
fuck.
death. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And
Damn.
where they shot in Morocco at the time, and that area, I mean, they didn't shoot in Egypt because of really extreme political tension at the time. And so they shot in Morocco. Everybody had to have kidnapping insurance, which is always a great sign when you're shooting on a foreign shoot. And not like just because the insurance says we have to. It was like, no, you might actually need this. And a bunch of people got hospitalized on the crew from like bites from wildlife and dehydration because they were actually shooting in the desert.
Right.
Which is
fuck.
obviously extremely inhospitable.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
Yeah. Not
Oh.
not a super fun time. And then they would
No.
finish a lot of the final production and shooting in the UK, where they built the whole like dock scene and everything,
Okay.
and finished it all there. The primary VFX was done by ILM. They did most of it, and then a couple other houses. One I hadn't heard of, two I hadn't heard of, was Pacific Title and Mirage. They did the title sequence and a few other shots, and then Cinesight did a bunch of other shots as well. But most of the work, like the modeling, the making of like the final CGI shots we're getting, working with Vosloo to create the motion capture and things like that, along with the director, that was ILM. It was their bread and butter. And at the time, it actually, like, I could go into some of the review talk, but so didn't actually get great reviews in terms of, not like it was bad, but they were like, it doesn't really add anything to the movie. But looking back now, 25 plus years later, you're like, that's fucking fantastic. Especially compared to The Mummy Returns, which was not good, even though it was
No.
the exact same team.
Dude, I don't know how they messed up the ending. Is
I know.
CGI.
I know how that got messed
So-
up. But because
Oh,
the
God.
Scorpion King, his reveal scene, they could literally, The Rock was too busy and too famous to come in to do motion capture. And that's it.
Oh god.
They had to reference
okay.
everything from like just basically make it up.
Oh shit.
And also super late into production, unlike this one where they were creating models and doing computer work and doing concept work for like 3 or 4 months before they even turned cameras on.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like to like Chris's point that we talk about a lot, like this movie had a very specific like artist-driven vision, and they stuck to it from a very early part of the production, instead of like what you might see on a lot of the not very good Marvel movies, where they're like, hey, it's 3 weeks before the movie comes out, should we maybe finish VFX?
Yeah.
Yeah. Different time of filmmaking, I guess.
So I've actually got some interesting behind the scenes stuff on
And this-
ILM specifically, and there's stuff for the Mummy,
Indeed.
the first one.
I figured I'd leave this in your hands.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I get from when it comes to movies that I haven't watched the special features for, which I haven't watched the special features for The Mummy, I like to do a lot of deep diving by watching the Corridor Crew. We talk about this a bunch. But the Corridor Crew did a CGI artist react to pretty much the entire episode was the first Mummy movie. And it was because one of their cameramen on the Corridor Crew is the son of the guy who did the original pencil sketch for the Mummy that you see in this movie.
Whoa.
So he came in and he did like a whole deep dive on a bunch of stuff for the Mummy. So a couple of fun things. You talk about, they had the good artist vision from the beginning and they stuck to it. Well, not on one thing. The whole intro scene where you go from the sun to the pyramid to the Sphinx and then move over and then you see like the wall. It was shot in I think there were the sun and the pyramid was like I think that was a digital thing, but like the Sphinx and the town square kind of thing were a miniature model that they then put green screened actors in very small in there. And then when you pan over and you see the wall and the guards with the chariot coming up, that was filmed in Morocco, I believe. That was an actual wall. So there were different plates that were put together. But when they did the main filming for the miniatures, they decided, oh, this is going to be during the day, like high noon. So they lit it in a way in which it's noon, blue sky, like sun's at a specific angle. Well, you change that to the golden hour and your lighting completely changes. And the director decided to change that late in production. And the wall with all the chariots, that was also filmed at high noon kind of thing. So they had to change the lighting. So they had to do a whole pass just for this one scene to change all of the lighting, which is like, okay, I need to make a mask around here so that I can change this shadow specifically.
Yeah,
very much so. So that was one thing that he talked about that was a little bit rough. And then, if you guys don't know, the scene near the end where Brendan Fraser is fighting all of the mummies around Rachel Weisz while she's chained up. There's not a single person in that scene other than Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
Yeah. Not
a single person. He did that against air. And the animators came in and said, all right, we'll fill in the gaps. But it was choreographed. Mm-hmm. So Brendan Fraser could do all of that. But every single person that you see that is a mummy in that scene is digital. And for 1999, that looked so good. Like, I didn't know that until I watched the behind the scenes about that. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, the CGI in this movie was great. I loved the way the mummy looked.
And the ILM guys, they were on set, like, almost all the time. At least the head guys were.
Right. Yeah.
And like they were involved with like choreographing that so they could know like, hey, we know what the technology can do. So like we need, that kind of angle or this kind of shot, or maybe, what they wanted to do wouldn't work. And I should have wrote it down. He was in a bunch of the behind the scenes stuff on the ILM team. It's like, yeah, because Fraser had done just basically CGI characters in George of the Jungle, like things that are just not in the scene with him, and he had already had that experience of how to act without that. They were like, yeah, he's selling it. You're like, yep, he gets the physicality, he knows how to sell it like they're there, and that's why it works as well as it does. Like he's like, yeah, less experienced actors, you might tell like they're just like stopping themselves or, like trying to play it slow and we're speeding it up because they just don't have that physicality, whereas Fraser's like, got it in the bag. And that scene is one of that whole sequence, and then following with the other guards that come out later. Like, yeah, it just genuinely feels like we're on a ride right now, but a really good one. Yeah, one that's like, absolutely hitting its notes.
It's those scenes like that made me like, oh, I'm just watching a cartoon right now,
which
and
I'm
like
totally
not in
cool
a bad way at all. Not in a bad way at all. Like it was so cartoony while being live action. And it's like, Disney, why are you making your cartoons into live action stuff when you could just make things like The Mummy and just make them both at the same time and do new things?
Yeah, my first thought to that, like that kind of concept, but taken in a little more serious tone, like in terms of the weight of it. Like Pacific Rim has some similar things where you're like, man, I know this movie's like, it ain't a 10 out of 10. But goddamn, is it the best 7 out of 10 movie I've ever seen in my fucking life? Like
that is a great live action anime.
Exactly. Like it's very like not very different in terms of like style and everything, but like for what they're going and trying to make, they're nailing it every step of the way. And The Mummy rules for that for me. That's one of the reasons I love it so much. It is not a movie that's like trying to set some high watermark of cinema. It's just trying to be a damn fun movie. And it's
like The Mummy is you can compare the Mummy to Brendan Fraser in that fight scene. If you pull your punches, it's not going to come out as good. But if you go for it and you just commit, you're going to make something fun for people.
Indeed.
They fucking nailed that.
Yeah.
Indeed. You got anything else, Chris, on the background side?
Nothing that I think warrants too much more talking.
Did they show much in that? I haven't watched the corridor stuff. I should get in the habit of that. I broke down on the, like I said, I watched the, I cleaned out my office a little bit so I could use my TV to watch the actual behind the scenes features and how they were doing the masking with merging Vosloo and the CG version of the Mummy was really cool. Did they show any of that?
They showed like very small tidbits of like, because the guy who literally made the first sketch that went into being that first Mummy, like the one that comes out of the thing. So they showed like some process sketches, but never any of the like deep dive computer mixing things together kind of.
Yeah, because one of the backgrounds, I think it's called build a better Mummy, and they do a whole thing with ILM of like how they go through their process. And so it's in 4 stages. So obviously you have out of the casket, first guy gets,
Yes.
his organs pulled, then 2 and 3. So then 4 stages. And then obviously we have finally it's just, Arnold Vosloo, acting. So obviously for the most part, CGI on a skeletal frame with motion capture that they would do in post. Like after most production had wrapped, that was actually one of the final things they did, was they brought Vosloo and the director in to ILM to just basically recreate everything and make it work with the CGI. As they were transitioning into, stage 3 and 4, they would have Vosloo like wear these different like black with like a grid pattern and red LED lights that would be used to create a masking for the computer. So that way you could use the artist rendering, which was like a drawn thing, those like filled in bits. As they said, it was too complicated for computers at that time. So a lot of that was done by what they called image or vision drawers or something that like kind of emerged between the digital creation and like a sketch drawing to put it into a 3D space. So that's why like there's stuff where you can see through him in spaces, was that's being drawn basically. And they're creating that masking to merge those two things, which is done really, really well. Like they showed off the scene with where he eats the bug through his
scarab going into his cheek and then he eats it.
He's wearing a big triangle here, and then he's got something on his cheek that he's wearing during the scene what they're shooting, and then that's how they're merging everything in post, which was really cool. And
Yeah,
of course,
it's really interesting.
for the director and for the cast, so everybody could know like this is what you should be seeing. They made like really incredibly accurate busts and statues that would be on set, so that people could like see at this stage of the story, this is what the Mummy looks like. This is how it's going to move, how it's going to act, and this would be what your characters are seeing to get their reactions to it, so they could know what to actually play off of instead of just like stick on a ball on a stick.
Which is what they used to do back in the day. It used to be, oh, we have this CGI character, or we have this change that's going to happen to a person after the fact that we're going to do digitally somehow. So they would make full-on sculptures. They'd have artist teams that would sit there with clay in their hands and painting things and all this kind of stuff. And nowadays it's mainly done in like digital 3D sculpting, and then maybe they like 3D print it out. But back in the day, it was all done by hand, made by hand, and brought to sets. And like that's one of those big things that's super helpful for, instead of having it used to be that they would just have to like guess specific things for lighting purposes on that stuff. If you had a model there and you had the lighting in the area, you had a perfect reference for anything you were doing digitally later. And nowadays it's like, oh, we just have this chrome ball that gives like a perfect thing, or we have an LED like screen around us that projects exactly the lighting situation here, so we can do something with it. Like Yeah, back in the day, it used to be fully handmade textile creations that would give you all that kind of stuff.
And the one they showed off
I
in the interview, even though it was like off a DVD interview, it looked like it was gorgeous. I was like, oh my god, I would
yeah.
want to be. I would want that to be in like a traveling exhibit of like, because
That's so
sometimes
cool.
place movies and franchises will do that. Like, man, I'd love to see that because it just looks fucking cool.
If DC ever cools the frick down, the Smithsonian has a lot of really cool movie stuff.
Oh,
And a
you
lot
don't
of
mean DC
Indiana
Comics? You mean
Jones.
Washington DC?
No, Washington DC. Yeah, they cool the frick
I thought
down.
DC Comics. Like, wait, hold on. Like, I
No,
missed something.
the Smithsonian has a lot of really cool stuff. I
Yeah.
went there when I was really young. I don't remember it, but there are pictures with me next to a Chewbacca suit in a
Oh yeah,
thing of glass. So
I got one next to the original NCC 1701 Enterprise model. Back in the day.
nice.
I've been a couple of times.
Oh,
We
yeah.
went in middle school, and then I went once in college. The Smithsonian's dope.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I found one of the busts. Holy shit! It
They're
looks
fantastic.
crazy gorgeous. How's this
Drop
not in a
that
museum
drop that
somewhere?
photo in Discord so I can pull it for reference later.
Yeah,
too.
he's got it in here.
Okay.
Excellent.
Oh my god, this is
Yeah,
crazy
stage
gorgeous.
3.
Yeah, there were 4 stages, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is nuts. Holy
Incredible
crap.
stuff. And they made like different miniatures that like would live in the ILM studios, again for the lighting model references, some that would go to set for like, final review or for use during production in terms of, again, what the studio and the artists are seeing.
The name in the top right of that, Alex Laurent. That's the guy that's
That's
in
the
the corridor video.
Oh shit, nice.
I mean, I
Yep.
think he was in I can't remember who it was, but there's a bunch of people that were in the interview that I would highly recommend.
Gotta-
It's really fun to watch. The guy that
cut.
was the lead on the project is a character. Long flowing red hair and spectacles, like a
Yeah.
giant red haired hippie. Like, yeah,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
cool dude.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, and he worked. He was in a lot of interviews in that. Let me see here. Do I have any other notes? Oh, score 1
Ooh.
for marketing, because this movie, up until a very specific point late in its hype cycle, for bringing ads out and stuff, was largely seen as it's going to be a flop because audiences were not testing well with the name, with the brand, because it kept getting associated with the original 1930s Mummy. Oh, it's just a low budget horror movie? Why do we care about that? Then there were like, wait a minute. What if we took out a full minute Super Bowl ad to show a full trailer of what this movie's actually going to be? To
Yep.
show off the fun. And then immediately, they were like, yeah, the test scores are now so much better. Everyone's like, now it's going to be a hit. And score 1 for marketing.
Yep.
Because Universal did not want to change the name because they wanted to harken back to, they wanted to be like, no, we are reviving the Mummy as an IP. Like, it's going to be different, but we're reviving the IP. So we're not changing the name. We're not giving it some weird subtitle. It's just the Mummy. That was
Right.
backfiring until marketing was like, we'll save the day. And then they did. And as I said, it was mixed critically by reviews at the time, seen as a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Roger Ebert gave it a great review. I was going to pull or in terms of an interesting review of what he said. Let me go back to the reception, critical response. There is hardly a thing I can say in its favor, except that I was cheered by nearly every minute of it. I cannot argue for the script, the direction, the acting, or even the Mummy, but I can say that I was not bored, and sometimes I was unreasonably pleased. That's what this movie's going for.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. He nailed it.
I kind of absolutely agree with that. It's like I didn't get anything of real substance from this movie aside from the sense of this is fun.
Exactly.
This is a good time.
And interestingly, John Hannah, this was another bit I pulled from the behind the scenes. They had cast him because he didn't think he was a comedic actor at all. He was just playing things straight. And that was this one of the strengths of the movie is everyone's just playing to their strengths, playing things straight, and it works very, very well. This is a very well cast movie in terms of how people can bounce off of each other on the scene.
For sure.
And then obviously, as we've gone forward in time, it's got a little bit of a cultural revisionism as it kind of went from audience hit, because it very much so was, that was, one of those. The Rotten Tomatoes, it's pretty skewed in terms of not the most ever, but definitely critics were like, I mean, it's fine. Audiences were like, we love this. But that has then passed into largely
Yes.
the mainstream view of this movie, looking back to 1999. Second one's nowhere near as good, having recently
No.
rewatched it. But those two movies together are incredibly popular. Maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's just, that was an interesting time of like filmmaking that almost feels like it doesn't exist anymore, because in many ways it doesn't. I don't know what the factors are, but something I thought I'd bring up, because again, Chris, this was your first time seeing it, so you're getting a different lens for seeing it for the first time.
Right. Yeah. Because I went into it and I really didn't know what I was going in for. I had seen small bits of it here in the past. I'd definitely seen the plane flying near the end at some point, like when my brother was watching on our TV or something. But I pretty much knew archaeological in some way and like mild horror kind of vibe. But other than that, I had no idea what this movie really was. So completely fresh going into it 27 years after it came out.
And Joey,
Almost 27 years exactly, right?
almost, yeah. We're a month out from that.
Yeah.
Joey,
So
do you have any other specific facts that you're a big fan of
I
in this movie?
do. I'm curling my toes about this. No, so I thought it was kind of interesting. So I've seen this movie on DVD. I've seen it on VHS. But the guy I guess his name is just Warden in the movie.
Yeah.
Omad Djil. Don't know how to say his last name. But you see his penis in it when he the scarab like calls out and crawls into his foot, and he's freaking out and his dick slips out. And that's in the VHS and the DVD, but was not in the Blu-ray. So I thought it was kind of interesting. A little fun fact for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for it.
Specifically the deluxe edition Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It might be in other Blu-ray visions,
Yes.
but
Yeah, heavy lack of pee-pee in this one.
Yeah.
yep. Yep. Joey sent me a breakdown from Reddit that slows down the footage and says, "There it is. There's the groundhog. It's 2 more weeks of winter, baby."
Don't you just hate censorship?
Oh, it's great.
Oh,
Oh.
give me more. Not censorship. I want raw footage.
Yes. I was like, man, that is so great. How many years was it out in the wild where the dude's dick's just in the film, and then, oh, I love it.
Imagine being the person who's just like randomly watching it on VHS, and their mom calls for them to go do the garbage, and they pause it, and they come back, and it's like,
Oh,
That's a penis.
that's a pee-pee. What is going on here?
Ugh.
I thought he had a name in the movie. Yeah, he's just called Warden.
Yeah, he's just the Warden.
apparently,
Nice.
yeah.
And he's a character that is largely on the critical side of like, he's kind of used to make fun of people from that region.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's very
Yeah.
stereotypical in a not good
Mhm.
way.
No. And
Yeah, definitely some cultural issues in this movie for sure.
mhm.
So let's move into scores. So Chris, first time out of our usual 5, what would you give this?
I would say a very rewatchable 3.5.
And obviously you already own it, so I don't need to answer that question. I know Joey
Yeah.
does. So my
Mhm.
question to Joe is, what is your score, and are you going to upgrade to the 4K eventually?
I'd have to watch a review or another version of the 4K. I gotta see.
I've heard it looks good, but I don't know.
Okay, not for sure, because sometimes, like, I don't know, some companies go weird with upscaling with the 4K and shit. It's weird. I'm gonna go with a solid 4, and of course, naturally watchable, and I already physically own it, and it's so good.
I think if I'm thinking more critically and not leaning into the nostalgia, I'll say 4.5 out of 5. I genuinely really love this movie.
Yep.
I'm on Letterboxd, it is 5, but I'd probably
Mhm.
realistically go 4.5. It's not a perfect movie, but
No,
Right,
it's damn good.
right.
which means it's time. Oh, wait, by the way, do you guys have any additions to your collections before we move on to the final part of the show?
I don't think I do.
One of mine showed up. My Criterion one showed up. I don't think I showed this off last episode. My Criterion collection of Wall-E showed up. I haven't taken the plastic off yet.
What is a Criteria collection?
Criterion is a like boutique movie collection space. Basically, if it's in the Criterion collection, like the director has to sign off on everything, and like they do a whole bunch of behind the scenes work. They do custom like art for it and things like that.
Okay.
It's a real like collector's thing.
Gotcha.
And I've always wanted to get some Criterion movies, and they had a 50% off sale, so I bought Wall-E and the next 50% off whatever kind of sale. I know what my list is because I went through what was on that sale. I'm gonna buy some more movies.
I will say, I saw, since the last time we recorded, I saw K-pop Demon Hunters for the first time.
What'd you think?
And I really liked it. I thought it was great. So I looked up to see if they were releasing a Blu-ray or if they did already. And it was like 2 weeks before they're like, oh, they're getting a Criterion collection.
Yep, they're going straight to Criterion, which is really cool.
So it was pre-order on Amazon. I tried not to do Amazon, but also I had $35 in my account. So I was like, I need to use it on something. Yeah. So I essentially got I've pre-ordered the Criterion collection of K-pop Demon Hunters for $8. The cost of shipping.
Nice. Hard to beat that.
So
no, can't argue with that.
So that'll be coming whenever it releases, but
nice.
And I might have a reason to buy some movies because I'm gonna be in Chris's neck of the woods in like a week and a half. So
really, I didn't know it was that soon.
Yeah, end of this month. So I might be like, hey, maybe we should take a run to Half Price Books and buy some movies.
Half Price Books, Boss Dogs.
Absolutely, both are on the agenda.
Time.
Oh yeah,
Boss Dogs is fantastic, Joe. That's why I'm like, I kind of want to call an Oliver like, fuck it, we're not going to Des Moines for Supergirl. We're going out to Chris and we're gonna get Boss Dogs and mini golf and bowling and watch a movie and then come back.
Oh yeah,
and do Boss Dogs like 3 times.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Indeed. Yes. Hey, they make sausage. You know.
They do. They've got brats. They've got sausage. They got.
Indeed.
They got corn dogs now.
Ooh.
Or at least they did for their like daily
dogs.
Specials or weekly specials kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So.
All right, so we're going to move over to the Wheelspin page, which is where we're going to pick our next host. We have 7 options remaining. We got a random from me, a random from Chris, a random from Joe, a couple of dealer's choice, another random from me, and then a couple Discord dealer choices.
Ooh.
I think that totals 7.
Nice.
I don't know how the math works, but we're going to have 12 episodes this season. So for our 6th episode, what's the host going to be? The wheel has been spun. It is going to be a random. Chris, we're going right back to your collection.
Hey.
Right back to me. I did not remove the Mummy from there, so if it rolls the Mummy, just go ahead and roll it again.
Indeed. And Joe, yours is the one with the weird colors, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's like pee.
BOS movies. All right. Here we go. It's been spinning. It's been spun. Slowing down. Oh, we almost had another Brendan Fraser movie. We were one off from Encino Man.
Dude, I wanted that so bad.
But we got another fantastic comedy. Fun with Dick and Jane.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
So I'll write this down. Chris is our next host.
I'll just move that from there.
Fun with Dick and Jane. Have we done a Jim Carrey movie? I don't think we have. This is our first Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
Wow. Heck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
No.
No, I don't think we have. Yeah. First time pulling a Jim Carrey movie.
This is a very interesting time to be watching this movie as well.
Indeed, with all the lovely little financial bullshit going on.
Yeah.
Holy nothing. I'm having a bubble right now. That will.
Oh,
yeah. I bought this movie. I think I bought this movie the same day I bought The Mummy too. So
nice.
They were both added to my collection on the same day. And I have watched it since then. So this will be my second time watching Fun with Dick and Jane this year.
Oh, nice.
I'm not mad about it.
Excellent. So we'll talk shop on when we're going to watch that. We'll put the event in our Discord server. If you happen to be a fan of The Mummy, or if you don't like it very much, whatever that is, let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on The Mummy, The Mummy Returns, maybe The Scorpion King, if you happen to have watched it. I have. Actually saw it in theaters. I remember seeing it in theaters. I mean, hey, it's Kelly Hu.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's an okay movie.
And Michael... Wait, is it Michael Clark Duncan? Yes. He's awesome in that movie.
Is he really in that movie?
He's the comic relief character.
Oh, okay.
But he starts off as an antagonist, and then he becomes like buddy cop, funny guy. Fucking awesome. From what I remember.
Okay.
It's been 20 years since I've seen it, probably.
Yeah.
But I remember him being great in that role. And he was huge back then, too. Like, physically. Like, he could actually match The Rock for, like, being in that movie. Which is impressive.
Damn.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think there's anything coming out near in theaters I'm interested in for movies. There's a new Bob Odenkirk movie. I think it's called Nowhere
yeah,
or
it's
something
like
that.
Nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, where he's a sheriff in a small town kind of movie.
I was like, is this supposed to be another sequel to Nobody?
No, but in that
Nowhere
vein,
or something?
it seems like it's in that vein, though a little more
Yeah.
serious than those movies
Yeah.
became. But
The Super Mario movie is out
Yeah,
right
that-
now.
I did already see Hail Mary. Project Hail
For
Mary.
Mary's
me,
very
yeah,
good.
I saw that too last week. I think
So
the
far-
next movie that I'm probably going for is Spider-Man.
I'm trying to think. Anything in May?
Are Spider-Man and The Odyssey coming out in the same month?
They might. And then obviously there's Supergirl.
Yes.
In
But I think
June.
Spider-Man comes out first, right? Or is that July?
It might be July. Spider-Man, Brand New Day, release date. It's late July. It's the last day of July. So 2 weeks after
Gotcha.
the Odyssey.
Then the next one that I'm interested in seeing is Supergirl.
May movies 2026. Oh yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu. Cool.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Oh, shit, yep.
Retconning one
That's
more time.
fine.
I'm going
Yep.
to see Mandalorian and and Grogu.
Yep.
Yep, that one. And then Masters of the Universe.
Oh, Mortal Kombat 2.
I am kind
Coyote
of
versus Acme.
Coyote versus Acme. Yeah, I'm in because that the history of that movie in and of itself warrants go support it because like it damn near didn't exist, but it also actually looks fantastic. Will
Yeah.
Forte, John Cena in a live action merging with Looney Tunes. Are you kidding me?
Ooh.
That sounds amazing. So
Hey.
I want to watch that. And Mortal
There are
Kombat
actually
2.
a lot of interesting
like,
movies.
All
Yeah.
right, I wasn't a fan of the first one, but they're bringing
That
back
one I'll watch when it's free on a streaming.
they're bringing
for
back
sure.
the guy that played Scorpion in the first one, which I love. I love that dude. His name
Yes.
escapes me, but I know it. He's awesome in Shogun.
He was the guy from Shogun, right?
Yep. And
Oh.
Carl Urban as Johnny Cage.
That's right.
You have my
Mhm.
attention. Why he wasn't
There are a lot
already in
of-
the first one, I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of actually good movies.
There's some
or
interesting stuff coming
possibly
out.
good movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a live action Moana. Is that out in May? Oh, it's in July.
Yeah, it's coming out.
It's in July.
Oh, okay.
I said May movies, and then it showed up as Moana. I'm like, that's not in May.
If you guys want to see Dwayne the Rock Johnson with a different CGI body, go see Moana in theaters.
Indeed. This one probably looks a little bit better than The Mummy
Maybe.
Returns.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a bit. All right, we're going to get out of here. It's been about 50 minutes.
Mhm.
We're going to watch the next movie, Fun with Dick and Jane. We're going to stay in the comedy vein a little bit with that Jim Carrey and Tia Leone movie.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
See you in a
I gotta
couple
say,
weeks.
guys,
Bye.
we've had a really good season so far.
yeah,
A
it's
lot,
been
of,
a
lot of
banger
good
season.
movies.
We
A
have.
lot of good movies.
I can easily
Joey,
ruin
how
this.
are you gonna ruin it?
I can easily ruin this. I was
Wait,
looking
wait.
through my list of movies. I was like, I can fuck us really easy this season with some
Do
of the
you have a
movies I
dealer's
have
choice
here.
left? I think
Yes,
you
he
do.
does.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
both
because I
do,
was looking
believe.
for a movie because like I felt like it was gonna land on me for a dealer's choice. I was like, okay, but I've got 3 movies I think picked out for my dealer's choice
Okay.
as of right
okay.
now.
You want to spoil it?
Yeah, it's the Goonies, the Dark Crystal, and the Knight's Tale.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
I
Those are
w-
all pretty solid picks.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like
I'm
this
gonna
is
let you know.
great.
I have a ranking system of those.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, okay, I have a ranking system of which ones I'd want to see because I haven't seen one of those.
I'm assuming you haven't seen Goonies.
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna make you pick.
Ah,
We'll make
damn
you
it.
guess when we get around to you.
Yep.
We'll make sure you guess that. All right, now we're actually.
I'll
gonna
give
get
you
out
a
of here.
hint on one of the ones that I have seen. I'll make you in trails, you X trails. Hello, it's a Lance.
Yeah.
Didn't they do is that in the Criterion collection? I know there's
If
a
it
4K.
is, I
of
need it. If there's a
Oh,
steelbook, I need it.
I'd same.
There was a recent
the hell?
re-release.
Get out, really? How do I not own that now?
Wait, is it? I know it's got a special edition. Which? How many releases does it have? Releases, home media. The 4K came out last year in May. I was debating
Okay.
about getting it at the time,
Ah, gotcha.
but yeah, it does have a steelbook.
Gotcha.
So
Oh.
I'm gonna need to keep an eye out for it.
yeah, that one's going in my spreadsheet for movies to buy. I don't own
That's
a
one
Knight's
of
Tale.
those ones that's like I will own multiple versions just in case an old version dies.
Yeah.
Like a scratch disc or something.
What?
Hold on.
We still haven't outroed yet. By the way, we're still live.
I know. We're still cooking. I'm shitting the bed though.
Don't
This
do
price
that.
on this fucking Knight's Tale
On the
steelbook. Yeah.
I mean, you're shitting bricks or you're shitting the bed. Like
What?
shitting the bed would mean like you bought it but then didn't get it or something.
No.
is that
I'm shitting in
eBay?
shock. Yes. I'm shitting in shock. That's eBay.
How much?
$199.
Yeah. Now here, you want a great one? Go even the bootleg versions, the Blu-ray collection of the Netflix Daredevil shows. I looked one up recently. It's like a bootleg's going for this much. Netflix, the fuck, or Marvel, Disney, put them out, please. Physical media rules. Make money. Do it. All right, we're gonna get out of here. On that physical media note, thank you for joining us for us talking about the Mummy, and we'll be back for a fun with Dick and Jane in about 2 weeks.
It's Liechtenstein.